Today I'm going to demo MetaFeature-Orchestrator, a system designed to make AI evaluation truly scalable. As AI systems expand across features, languages, regions, model versions, and regulatory environment, manual and ad hoc evaluations quickly breaks down. You can imagine if every feature team writes their own prompts, chooses their own metrics, apply responsible AI checks night differently, you lose consistency, you lose comparability, you lose trust. So I trust I treat evaluation as a governed platform infrastructure, but governance alone isn't enough. The key is data-driven orchestration. This is what makes it scalable. So as responsible AI isn't just a checklist. It is structured, enforced inside the orchestration layer. As a proof for concept, this web app demo today will show you how evaluation can be transformed from a fragmented QA activity into a governed, scalable infrastructure. So let me get started by demo the feature definition part, and also it's the starting point of the application. So at the high level, we put the features into different groups. For example, it can be auto reply, classification, translation, summarization. Then under each feature, we have different subcategory. For example, under auto reply, it can be auto reply email, can be auto reply message. Under summarization, it can be summarized document, it can be summarized email thread, it can summarize news. Under uh under classification, it can be intent detection, kind of sentiment analysis, right? So we have so many different type of features. So accordingly, we need to have different feature template. But what I do wanted to see sometimes you may have some new features. It's a new creative new ideas which doesn't belong to any traditional feature group over there, then will allow you to create customer feature template over there. But if you just choose a standard one, we can note or pre-written template over there. A couple information will be needed for each feature from the metadata point of view, like the name, description. Of course, you can edit it by yourself, right? Even though we have some pre-filled information, but if you want to have more, you can add those information there because all those information you have typed in the template will be used in the prompt generation in the later stage. You also can specify the input and output format, right? So they can be text, JSON, or image or audio. And it's a very typical future learning. You can tell what kind of input example there, output example there, right? So always can make changes here. And the quality matrix is super important. Because there's core logic for the evaluation. We do have a lot of candidates here. We do recommend different type of metrics for different type of features. We also can do AI recommendation or rule based, right? Or you can just add one, right? So let's say for this one, if I wanted to add reasoning quality, yeah, I can do that, right? So it's kind of we can have rule-based recommendation, AI-based recommendation, plus the human feedbacks. And then the location is super important. The by default will be English. Let's say if I also want to see in other language, I can choose one. And then you can see later on will generate the prompts in bilingual. And responsive AI, we have multiple categories here. They will be chosen by default, right? If you wanted to do the safety check, they'll check for harmful, violent, dangerous content. Then you can check for privacy, like PI exposure or privacy violations. And you also can check the bias and ensure equitable treatment for fairness check. And transparency is super important so that we wanted to make sure the outputs are explainable and traceable. Then, after we collect all the information, the metadata from each feature, and reviewed metrics and required responsible AI checks, we can generate prompt. We do have some backend logic here to see how we generate a prompt. At a high level, we have dual modes. One is a template mode, so that is super fast, and it's deterministic. Another one is if your feature is super complicated with a lot of feature requirements over there, then we can use AI to help with a generation because we don't have some pre-filled information over there. And also there's a nice feature here is we can do side to side comparison. As you can see, the template mode is super fast, right? Fast. It's available immediately. But the AI agent mode may take some time because there's a latency for the large language model code. And after you have the template, you can download download the template. Um, yeah, you can open them over there. Okay, the AI agent mode generation is also available up there. We can look at them one by one. At the top, almost the same, just some logging information for the version, language, location, privacy framework for that specific location at timestamp. And yeah, as a very typical prompt, will define the role or task over there. Uh, we're adding another information from the metadata part, right? The description, the input, output format, sample input. We have the RRI requirements from the third tab. We do enforce the hard gates, which means if any hard gates fail, the overall recommendation must be fail, even no matter what other metrics value looks like, because the security should be always a top priority. Uh, then then we have the definition of different metrics we have chosen in the second tab with suggested weights, and some scoring skills recommendation there. And since this is the auto reply email, right? So we do need to have some guidance. It's specific to that feature, right? So like here you can see like a message understanding, response tone match, actionability, those be the important check and the secondary order quality signals over there. And we also need tell the agent what will be the step to do, like step one, two. Let's say if they already fill in the hard case, they can save us time to do other checks, right? Yeah. So and the last step is also critical. It tells us how the model should output the evaluation results. The structured JSON format is preferred. And if you wanted to compare what AI agent generates the prompt for us, so you can see in general it's more conversational, more details, more natural. It has some explanation like why and and for every target, it has a definition. It has some guidance for each evaluation metric has a definitions. They also have a detailed explanation for each scoring skills for each metrics. Yeah, basically they have more details. But as the same as the end, the output, we also wanted to enforce a JSON format. So structure format will be much easier for downstream monitoring and quality control. And in addition to prompt generation for large language model-based model evaluation, we also suggest code-based metrics based on the metric you have chosen. The model-based evaluation is great. It can capture the complexity, nuances, but it's not always completely reproducible. In order to have consistent metrics, we also can do the code-based metrics checking at the same time. It's quick, reproducible, and yeah, and many of them uh, are informative as well. Then let's see. So I think after we generated the prompt, the question we truly care about is, does this evaluation prompt really help? Then, in order to do the end-to-end test, I do need to do some simulation, which means I need to implement those features by myself in this web app. Then I'll try those I have some good and bad outputs by design on purpose. Then I'll use those generated prompt to evaluate those outputs to see what kind of results a model will return to us. Right. So since the implementation of the feature may takes time, so I didn't I didn't implement this one for everything, but I did implement for some sample features like the email reply, translation, summarization. Yeah, let's just try example like that, right? So I need to write an email. Okay, like this. Hi, I would like to cancel my Apple Music subscription. My account number is 123. Please help me. So my name is Ada. Yeah. So in the backend, I will generate the good and the bad outputs on purpose. So you can see the good outputs. So it's polite, professional. They show the detailed step. What should they do to cancel the subscription? And is actionable and helpful. And if you look at the bad outputs I generated there, the tone doesn't look right, even though it does address the issue. Then now, we have our generated prompt, right? As a full evaluation prompt is basically the generated prompt plus the input. Then we can start evaluation. Um, if you look at this one, I think relevance, tongue, fluency, everything looks good, even though like brevity is for using the replies on the Binang. So the overall score is 4.9, so it's pass recommendation. Now if we look at the bad outputs, many of the score are not the perfect score 5, right? So as average score is 3, so recommendation is fail. Yeah, so which means it does help, right? So like when I generate those good and bad outputs on purpose, you can see the evaluation results really distinguish uh between those outcomes. And we also did a lot of we did do the calculation for the code-based matrix as well. So that how we can always have reproducible numbers show on the dashboard. Yeah, this is just one feature. If you want to try more features, let's say we can try translation window template. We can target location. Let's just use English response for AI chooses generate a prompt. And so let's say let me do quick. I'll just do a template only. Then we'll do the translation. Let me copy something to see Yeah, let me copy a poem there. When you are old, generate the translation over there. Yeah, then we can evaluate the good output. Oh, yeah, okay, the results here. It's good. Everything is 5. The average score is 5. If you evaluate the bad outputs, yeah, the average score is 3.2, right? Yeah, you can play with this one for a lot of like other interesting features. Like if we do personal intelligence, we can know the template. Like this one is more complicated with a lot of feature description to you can a lot of information. We can look at summarization, let's say summarization news. We also have different template. Yeah, so in general, I think the this web app demos how we can leverage metadata orchestrator to make AI evaluation scalable. Yeah, thank you for watching.